Hey guys, I'm Stephanie Hamley with Hamley Bake Shop, and on today's video we are going to talk about pricing your cakes for profit. If you are like me, you struggle to price your cakes appropriately, and I hope after today's video you feel a little bit more confident and a little bit less intimidated by the pricing process. If you're ready to get started, then follow along with me. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of background on me. I started working from home, decorating cakes for my friends and family, and I did that for about 12 years before I quit my job altogether and went headfirst into a brick and mortar. I have probably seen and done everything wrong that you could possibly do. But one of the main struggles is pricing, and I'm not really sure why pricing is so hard. As a creative person, it's hard to put yourself in a box because your talents are different than my talents, and the person next door's talents are different than mine and yours. Today we're going to talk about how to properly price your cakes for profit, and we're not going to do anything complicated. We are literally this is going to be a very simple video. Hopefully I won't ramble on too much. What are the 4 factors in pricing? We're going to go over each one of these, but they are cost, overhead, profit, and testing. In this section, we're going to go over cost, which is your ingredients, your decorations, and supplies. The first topic is ingredients. We are going to price out the cost of the ingredients for this particular 2-tiered cake, and I've got the recipe over here on the side, and I calculated how much each one of those ingredients cost me. So 4 cups of flour is $1.28, 5 teaspoons of baking powder, 12 cents, salt, egg, sugar, for a total of $8.17. So that is how much it cost me to bake that 2-tiered cake. Now we need to price out the frosting. Just like we did with the cake ingredients, we need to do for the icing. The butter, powdered sugar, milk, and vanilla extract, which came to a total of $6.64. And that was to ice and fill both of those tiers. Now we're going to talk about cake supplies. You can really nitpick and make yourself overwhelmed by trying to get down to the last penny when it comes to how much pan spray do I use, how much parchment did I use. We are going to keep it simple. We're going to stick to the main ingredients, the main things that we use. If you want to go deep dive into that, then you are free to do that, but we're keeping it simple. We used 5 pounds of fondant. That is to make the entire cake cover both tiers, plus all the cutouts and the little mushroom figures, all that stuff. A 6-inch cake board, a 10-inch cake drum, 5 dowels for support, and a cake box. And that total came to $17.53. The cost of our cake so far is $32.34. That's the total for the ingredients, plus all the decorations and cake supplies that we need to make our 2-tiered cake. Now here is where it gets interesting. This is our second factor, which is overhead. Let's see how much time it takes us to make this 2-tiered cake. This is the number one killer in your price because a lot of times you don't value your time like you should. We're gonna break down how long it takes us to make this cake, and I want you to see how much you should actually be charging. For instance, it took us about 3 hours with the client, with emails, text, and phone calls. That's design, pricing the cake out. That can vary with each person, but we're just gonna say 3 hours for this particular one. Now the next step, prep and bake time, took us 4 hours. That is
prepping the icing, coloring the fondant, baking the cake, cleaning, all those things that you don't think about, that was in the 4-hour time schedule. The next is the icing, filling, and stacking, and we allotted 3 hours for that. That's leveling the cake, filling it with buttercream, stacking each of the layers, chilling, crumb coating, everything. Absolutely everything that has to do with icing, filling, and stacking. It took us about 3 hours. Decorating, which was the most costly of all the things, which took us about 20 hours. That is rolling the fondant, covering the cake, making each one of those little figures. It's very time consuming when you're making a very detailed cake. So take that into consideration when you are pricing out your decorated cakes. Actually time yourself one day making a cake, start to finish. See how long each one of those processes take and write that down. And just track, okay, well, it took me 5 hours to cover my cake in fondant. It took me 2 hours to make this sculpted little figure. Calculate all that and write that down in a notebook and keep track, so when you have to make cakes in the future, you can already guesstimate how long it'll take you to do this. So based on our calculations, it took us 30 hours to make this 2-tiered cake. So what does this mean to you? That means if you were to work at a job outside of your home at making $10 an hour, you would make $300 for your time. 30 hours times $10 an hour equals $300. Now we're going to talk about profit. How much profit do you want to make? People confuse income and profit. Income is when you trade time for money, so 30 hours of work times $10 an hour is $300 of income. Profit is the percentage of money made in excess of your earnings and expenses that you can reinvest back into your business, typically 30 to 50%. For us to calculate 30% profit, we need to consider the cost of our cake, which was $8.17, $6.64 in frosting, $17.53 for our supplies, and $300 of labor, which came out to be a total of $332.34. Now to calculate the profit, we take that $332 times 0.30, which gives us $99.70. Then we add that $99.70 back into our cost, which was $332.34, which gives us a total of $432.04. Now, had I priced my cake appropriately, my client should have paid $432.04, or $432 to make it even, however you want to price it. This is what I'm trying to make it clear to you, that your time is extremely valuable. You can work all day and not get paid for it, and that's called a nonprofit. So if you're just wanting to do this for fun, then by all means, don't charge what you're worth. But if you're wanting to make something of yourself, make a business out of this, then you've got to calculate your time. Think about the time you spend away from your friends and your family to do this. So you need to charge appropriately, and the right clients will be there to pay for it. Let's talk about discounts. First of all, don't do it, because like I've said many times, your time is valuable. But if you must, calculate your cost, just decrease your profit margin. Never compromise your worth because someone can't see your value. And if you do it today, they might ask again for it tomorrow. So I have a spreadsheet that I have all my costs calculated, and then I just figure in different percentage points. That way, if I were to do a discount for a friend or something like that, or maybe it was an easy cake or whatever, I just like to have that just for price options for myself. Maybe they're a pain in the butt client to deal with and you want to charge more. Well, there you go. Final criteria is testing. What works and what doesn't. From this point forward, for the next few weeks, next month, I want you to calculate your time and effort that you put into each cake. Calculate the cost of the ingredients and the decorations, and just make notes of each one of those. Figure out your profit margin. Maybe small cakes, 15% profit margin is good for you. Maybe custom cakes, 30%. Wedding cakes, 50%, because there's a lot more effort involved in the wedding industry, the wedding cakes. Track all of that, test it out, see what works, what doesn't, but first and foremost, always pay yourself. Always calculate your time in. Get paid no matter what. And then you can always adjust the profit margin.
The whole takeaway of pricing your cakes for profit is you take your cost of your ingredients and your decoration. You take the cost of your time. If you want to get paid $10, $15, $20 an hour or more, whatever that is. So you take your cost plus your overhead, which is your time, and then you calculate your profit margin. How much do you want to charge? 20, 30, 40, 50%? Figure that up, and then that is your cost for your client. That's it. It's that simple. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you found this helpful, then please let me know. If you still have questions, please email me. I will definitely answer as many questions as I can. And until then, I'll see y'all next time.